Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. So I came on to do some stitching and then I thought, well, why don't I switch the camera on? So I'm making some tags. I'm making a journal, a Christmas journal, and I'm making tags initially of seed heads and things like that, and then I'll be doing berries, but to start with I'm doing seed heads. So this is going to be it's going to have another branch coming off, well, not branch, stem coming off the side there, and then that's going to be another. So this is going to be a poppy head. So I'm not using necessarily botanically correct colours, obviously. I'm just making it up as I go along, but I think it will be quite effective. This is here, let me see, where is it? So this cloth is vintage, or it might be antique actually, it's still got some nettle on it, and it's linen, and it's a very fine linen, and it has I've rust dyed it. So I dyed it in a rust bath, not a rust, nettle. It's a nettle dyed cloth, and you can still see some of the bits of nettle on there. I need to take them off. I did rinse it, but you know, they do cling on. So yeah, so it's nettle dyed. It's quite pale. I was going to do a second batch. The first batch I did with using alum as a mordant, and I was going to do a second batch to see if I could get a darker colour, because I did use quite a lot of nettles material in the dye pot, so I was surprised that it came out so light. But it's still, if I put it next to, let's say, a white piece, you know, a normal, well, this is actually off-white, so you can see the difference in colour. So there is obviously a colour to it. And I've got this hand-dyed fabric as well. I might do one on there. So yeah, I thought I'd just show you this. So this is obviously a stamped piece, but I'm sort of taking inspiration for that, except that I'm doing my own hand embroidery. So these are going to be tags, as I say, or pieces to go in my Christmas journal. Now some people might say, well, it's not very Christmassy, but it will be when I'm finished. I've got a very special, well, let me show you actually. So this is going to be the cover paper for the cover. You see, just to show you. Isn't that beautiful? So what did I use? Oh, I didn't use it last year, but the year before I used Lochta paper. This is Lochta paper, which is paper from Nepal. It's a beautiful paper, absolutely stunning, and I can't wait to use it with that gorgeous green and gold. So really looking forward to using that. This is another, but obviously I'm not going to be using this for Christmas, but there's no reason why I couldn't. It's quite festive looking. But these are my, well, I do have other papers, but these are the two that's sitting on my desk at the moment. So this, with the orange one, I made a cover for my little, you might recall, my little journal that I started and I haven't finished. You might recall that image in particular. So I haven't finished it, but I did make a cover for it, which you hadn't seen. And then I was going to make a few of these and maybe give them away as gifts. So we'll see. That will be another project that I'll continue on with. But for now, I'm just doing this. And I thought, well, I'll switch the camera on and see how see how I go. Yeah, so this is where I'm at. So what I'm doing is I've got, this is the colour that I stitched the outline with there, and then I've used this lovely green. Now I don't have a lot of this left, but I've used this lovely green to go inside and then do some areas as well. What I'm thinking though is to maybe take one strand of this and do a line in each bit, or just to emphasize those ridges that you get on a poppy seed head. So we'll see. And then I've got a little bit to do down here, just that little nodule that you get on that, and then the top, which will be a nice little star shape. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. Right, now I did have some that I'd already pulled. Yes, it says. So I think I'll do one more of this light green, and then I might do a darker colour just to emphasise those ridges that you get that I've mentioned. So I'm only using 2 strands in each of these. I use 2 strands in the initial line, you know, the initial stem, and then so I'm just using sort of a back stitch, but I'm not sure what it's called. It's back stitch, but there's another name for it as well, very similar. So I hope you guys are doing well. It's a beautiful day outside. I was hoping to make a start earlier than this so that I could get out into the garden, because I have a lot of gardening jobs to do. Having said that, you know, I think the last of the insects will be, it's getting frosty at night now, or definitely colder up here at night. I was out in my garden in the early hours this morning and it was freezing. It was so cold, and I'd be surprised if there wasn't a frost in, you know, sort of out in the countryside. Well, I am in the countryside, but yeah, you know, not quite as sheltered. So I'm just going to see what this looks like. I would prefer them to come in a little bit, because usually, but no, I think that'll be fine. I might do another little green ridge here. Maybe I should have used 1 strand so it wouldn't have been as thick, but I'm just going to take it right up to the edge, just so that I've got enough room for the darker thread to go in there. So yeah, I mean, I really wasn't sure what colour to do, because it's still, some of them still have, I mean, they generally are quite dull and brown at this time, but I wanted them to stand out a little bit, so that's why I've used the green. And some still have that little bit of green left on them in some areas. So yeah, I think that's nice. So I'll leave that like that, and then I will do on this side, I'm going to do some as well. I'll try and get as close as I can to there, the edge of the grey colour that I'm using. It's like a taupe. So yeah, I hope you're all well and enjoying your weekend. I had so many different things I wanted to start today, and it left me a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. So I thought, well, I'm going to, rather than start on the journal, I'm going to do some little tags like this. So they will be backed with something. So I think that's enough of the green. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with that amount of green, to be honest. Yeah, I'll just go back here. I should be outside. I mean, I've got loads of bulbs to plant, loads and loads of them. I mean, you know, too many, probably, well over 100. But on top of that, I've got lots of, you know, things to clear up as well. Next year, it will be amazing, because the all of the perennials that I planted over the last 2 years will really shine. Right, so I'm going to do the darker colour now. So this will put just one side to use in the next, and that as well in the next stem. Oh, and that. And I'm going to try this darker and see what it looks like. I'm cautious, but I think it will just make it stand out that little bit more, and it will give definition to the, now I'm just wondering whether to use one strand or two. I feel like two is just too many. I'm going to use one. It's a shame it's not a bit thicker. I'm just threading my needle. Because if it was, you know, it's quite thin. It's cheap, actually. It's a cheap thread that I bought. It's not one of my vintagey ones, which are lovely silky ones. But, you know, it might do the job. So I'm going to start down here. You can see there's some gaps in there. So I'm going to start just filling in this gap here a little bit. But I'll start here, I think. And I think what it will do is, I mean, I don't have to fill in all of the gap, because you might want, you know, some of the cloth to be seen behind it. But yeah, it's nice to just get it and get the darker colour in there, just for, like I said, definition, and to sort of highlight the ridges that you get on a poppy seed head. I love poppy seed heads, absolutely love them. Need to grow more. I only grew a couple last year and they weren't that successful, so I do need to. When I went to the Lake District with my sister and niece, we saw some beautiful poppies. I mean, stunning poppies, and little ones that I'd never seen before. So that's a bit straight looking, but never mind. I'm going to go down here as well. I think I might go down here, just to give it, like I said, to give it definition. I'm just making it up as I go along. Like I said, it's not botanically correct. And, you know, I know there are lots of embroidery. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing really. You know, in terms of embroidery, I'm not experienced enough, but I'm just having a go, and it's, you know, I hope to inspire you. If you know, you can pick up these threads quite cheaply. You don't have to spend a lot on them initially if you're just starting out. Need a nice needle that you're comfortable with, nice couple of needles. I like my thin needles with a fairly good sized eye. It's not that big, but it's quite nice. It's a nice thin bendy needle. Okay, so I think I'm just going to end this on here, shall I? Why is that sticking out there? No, that I don't like that. I'm going to have to undo that. I mean, to you it might not seem obvious, but to me it's sticking out too far. I didn't get close enough to considering it's sort of rounded. So yeah, obviously I'm doing very detailed stuff here. Not your usual, just, well, my usual slapdash. So I'm hoping that I can get right into there. I just want to make sure that you can see it. I mean, it's supposed to be a little bit botanical, so, you know, it's never going to be perfect. Because, you know, flowers and seed heads are certainly not perfect, so why would it be? It's still sticking out. Okay, that's all right. Now I'm going to go into here and go straight up to there. And like I said, I don't have to, it doesn't have to be dominant at all. It can be hidden a little bit as well. I hope you can see all of this. Yeah, I'm liking this so far. I mean, like I said, it's not perfect, it's not meant to be, but like I said, I wanted to do some seed heads. It would have been nice to, oh, I should have a seed head somewhere actually. Should have got one out. I might have a look. I'll definitely have one somewhere. I can't pass by seed heads without picking some. Yeah, I think that's better with those darker. Just really stands out. I love this as well. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to just end off here for now. I might come back to using this thread to do that little nodule, but that's the first one done, to some extent, obviously. Because the sunlight maybe is shining on, I probably will use this colour. It won't show up very much, or maybe I use a lighter one. There's a lighter one there, that should show up. It's cream there, but it's almost the same, or I could use the lighter one. Oh, I don't know now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is all just trial and error. Right, so I'm going to start with the grey again. So this will be slow, and so I'm not going to get a lot of work done. So you know, it's up to you obviously whether you watch. It's always up to you, but yeah, I'm just letting you know there's not going to be, I'm not speedy enough to make this a fast video. But what I could do, and I'll think about it, is to fast forward and then put some music. If I fast forward, I don't like, I mean, I can put it on mute, which is what I normally do if I do fast forward, but then, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. All right, so I'm going to come down here to there, and I will make, it's not obvious where this is, but I'm not too worried. I can sort of figure it out. So I did, for this one, I did two of the grey lines of grey stitch and one line of that pale green in between. I mean, you know, I'm putting this effort in, but I may not like it in the end. Oh, I went to Antiques Fair yesterday. I did buy some things. And I also popped into a charity shop that I like to go to. And I bought some things there as well, so I will show you. But because I did a show and tell this week, I won't do it this week, I'll do it next week. But I did buy some nice things. Yeah, I bought some lovely books. One of them is from 1890s, I think. Photography book. I mean, it would be interesting to somebody in terms of what's inside. I mean, I love the photography is interesting, but it doesn't excite me looking at it. There's a few images that I like, but it's mostly different seaside areas in the UK, but it's in, you know, old black and white photographs, and they're not great quality, I don't think. But it is what it is, and it's a beautiful cover, so I will show you it. And I got a gorgeous children's book, really stunning, and I'm in love with that right now. And then I bought a book purely for its cover at the Antiques Fair. It was only It was £5, so it wasn't expensive. There were really expensive books, but I didn't. And actually, to be honest with you, the whole antique fair was a bit of a letdown this time. I mean, I go to this one when I can. When I can, as often as it comes around, but I can't go every time, but I do go regularly. And there was hardly any stalls. It was really disappointing. And then what was on sale was not great either. Nothing much of what I would generally buy. But I did buy some little pieces. You know, I got some little pieces that I can use both in my journals and to decorate my home. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. But not very small pieces. Thank you for your lovely comments, by the way. Recently, I'm hoping I've replied to everybody. I usually try to make sure I reply properly to everyone. And it's a part of the engagement that I really love. I hope you can tell that. It makes it, you know, more right. Now I think I might draw it on because I want to make sure I get that. This isn't great, by the way. It's a chalk pencil, but it's not great. Yeah, I want to do it so that it's got a bit of a bend. I don't want it straight up and down like this one is. What is that? It's fluff. But it does need to be fairly... Yeah, I'm not really happy with that either. Never mind. Forget what I was saying now. Oh yes, about the antique things. Yeah, I mean they're just small pieces. Yeah. Oh yes, I bought the book. I bought a book purely for its cover. Beautiful book. In terms of the cover, I mean, it's a children's book, but it has the most gorgeous gold embossing in it. I'll show you, obviously. So I'm just, you know, making sure that you're coming back next week to watch. No, I really appreciate you all. That's what I was saying. And I appreciate all your lovely comments. Like I said, it makes a difference to me in terms of engagement and feeling like we have a bit of a community here. I love it when you tell me your, you know, things about yourself or what you're up to and things like that. Yeah, and also thank you to those of you who replied to my comment about recommending some I think I'll just try and stick to the same sort of yes, recommending any sort of favorite YouTube channels and you know what they are, and because yeah, it's nice to find out about new ones. Right, so if you imagine, what I've got to do is make sure that I get the dimensions right. So there will be another line coming up here, and then yeah, so it will come out to about there. Yeah, so that's good. So I can get a nice curve on there. I think now that I'm down here though, I might go back down. I watched a video yesterday or the day before where I think but this is what I'm talking about. I've got terrible memory. So I think her surname is Kerr, K-E-R-R. and she was making lovely dangle pieces for journals, for or just decoration, from resin. So years ago, when I was teaching in schools, I did this huge project with mainly sort of year 4 to 6, and we made a sort of an area of garden using resin. I'll show you the photographs because it's hard to, but it was called the project was called the Living River, and it went on for at least a year. Worked with all year groups, all of them, and everybody contributed to this living river, and it was all different projects throughout the school. I'll leave it for now. Okay, after all that. Right, so now I'm going to do the green again. Now I'm just wondering, do I do 2 or... Yeah, I'll do 2. I need to make that slightly bigger, so I will might come round a little bit with the green. So yeah, I used resin at the bottom of jars, and then we turned the jars upside down. So basically, I'm going to have to show you, but what I did was I got them to do designs, so imagine a little design at the bottom of a jar much bigger than that, but a design on vellum that would fit in a jar, to a circle on vellum, and they would use these pens that would work on vellum, and then the subject had to be of the living river, because that was the name of the project that I was doing, and it was all things nature in the river. But they were instructed to draw things like fish, but they had to fit on these small circles. Fish and birds and insects, frogs, toads, anything that lives on or around the river. And they did the most beautiful drawings, and transferred them then onto vellum. So they initially drew them onto paper, then they transferred them onto vellum. Then we cut them to the size of the jar, and then we mixed up the resin, and then everybody had a turn at pouring resin into their jar, and then allowing, with the image inside at the bottom, and then allowing the resin to settle and dry, and then we transplanted them into an area of garden that was designed by me in the shape of a river. The garden, I did all of the hard work. I dug the garden out. Apart from building a wall that somebody came and did, and he didn't do a great job either. Obviously didn't have experience. I think they didn't, maybe it was just somebody who they knew that to come and do it. But anyway, so a wall was built around my living river, and then I dug it out, added a base of soil, sand, and then gravel, and I had to do it all. Although I did get some children to help, but I had to basically, it was mostly me. It was back breaking, and it's not surprising I ended up with a really bad back, and also well, I didn't have an injury at that point. I mean, it was a few years later that I got my injuries. But anyway, yeah, so that was a very exciting project involving resin, and I'll insert some photographs for you to see. But I was really interested, so this was resin that dried under, air drying, I don't know the term, but it was a resin that you had to, 2 parts, and then you know, it dried itself. Clear resin. And then, but this resin that this lady on YouTube used was UV resin. So she had a UV lamp. You might have seen it. She did it the other day and made these little, I think she used jump rings. So jump rings, and made these lovely little dangle things for the decorations for. But I thought they would make nice, actually they could be nice for Christmas Christmas ornaments, you know, for the tree, or you could use them for everything. You know, they could go in your kitchen window and light up with the sunlight coming through them. Pretty colours. So yeah, we planted the jars, and so basically when you look down in between the gravel were all these jars, like bubbles in the gravel, in the riverbed. And then so they were like giant, well, not giant, but they were like big bubbles in the riverbed basically, and underneath you could see, and in them you could see these creatures. It's just beautiful. Really enjoyed that. I loved that school. I worked with them for 3 years, but I'd had to travel quite far too. So I would stay with my mum when I did it, because it was close to near where to, because I used to teach the head teacher. She used to come to my art class, and that was how she invited me to join the team there. So yeah, it was really lovely. So what I did is I worked this particular school, all the schools I work full-time at, or not full-time, but yeah, you know, permanently. But this is contract. So basically I worked for 3 weeks every 3 months. So once a quarter for 3 weeks to finish my project, to do my projects, which worked really nice. But I had to stay with my mum, which was lovely as well. Okay. There we go. So that's a bit better. It's going to be bigger than that one, a little bit bigger. So good. So then the next bit would be to do the darker colour in between, or a lighter colour even. And I might do one more to come round. I don't know. You don't have that many. No, I don't. I won't actually. But I might use, rather than just go straight in with the dark, I might use some of this colour here. First, just to fill in a bit, and sort of, if the light, I might do a little bit there, and so that the light, you can see maybe where the light's coming. And I'm being a bit optimistic doing that, but you know, I'm going to try. Oh dear, I don't do that very well. I'm trying to, oh yes, so that's why I was telling you about my project, because of the resin project that I saw on YouTube. Pretty little discs that you can use to decorate dangles. But I thought they'd make pretty Christmas decorations if you got, especially if you got a bigger jump ring or whatever. Get different sizes of jump rings, so you could get a bigger jump ring and do a lovely image of whatever you want. And then if the light's shining through them, they'd look absolutely gorgeous. So Right, so I'm going to try and just see how it works. I'm going to do an extra row of stitches on the end here. Hopefully it will work. It will make it wider, so bigger, and which is what I want, and also hopefully it will give not too dark. I'm coming in close. I'm hoping anyway. Oh yeah, I may have came out a bit too far, but it's okay. Don't mind. So yeah, for those of you who didn't comment about what your favourite, you don't have to, but it'd be lovely to hear from you. What some of your favourite channels and what do you like about them? You know, what is it? Can you recommend anything to us? Because I would love to know, you know, I'd love to just have some different channels to look to watch. Like I said, mine would be, well, there's two, no, there's a few of my favourites, but a couple of them are homesteading. Alessia, she's a homemaker, and her husband, and they've built a property called the Forest House. And but they were very humble people, and she's amazing. She's so good. She's just she approaches everything with such, I wanted to say homemaking, with such passion, in that she wants to make her home a very special place for her and her family. And she achieves that by doing, you know, crafting and baking and homemaking, and she shares everything with us, but in a very humble way. You know, you get a lot of people doing this nowadays, which is fine. I mean, you know, I'm thinking about doing something similar but different. But she's very humble. They live in Belarus, I think. Yeah, I think it's Belarus. Maybe on the border of Belarus and Poland, if my geography's right. And yeah, she's just so nice. And her husband is as well. And watch them, and they give off this really lovely feel, you know, in terms of and it's easy to maybe fake it, but they're definitely not faking it. You know, that's when people take you into their home on video, and your home isn't perfect and it's not looking like, you know, a curated space. It's just a home. Then you know it's genuine, and you know this is how they live. And I love that about them. So it's Alessia, Olesya, I think. And then the second one is the Forest House. So Alessia something. I'll put links. But she's so relaxing to watch as well, and you know, you get to see different culture and how they live, and yeah, she's just lovely, and her husband is lovely as well. And they have a son who's just gone off to university. But I've been watching her from the start, and it's amazing how quickly she grew. I mean, she is so popular, and because people can tell how genuine you are. Yes, I've just used the cream one for this one. I will do a little dark spot on them, but I do like it with the cream in there as well. It's not a cream, it's sort of like an off-whitey, off cream, almost not quite beige, but close to beige. But it looks more creamy on on this. Yeah. Anyway, recommend her is what I'm saying. And I love to support channels. I was watching something just very briefly and I turned it off because it annoyed me. I'm sure she didn't mean anything by it, but it felt like a dig towards people who use... She's a junk journaler and she only uses scrap, you know, books and things that she cuts up and what have you. But she was sort of just... the way she spoke about using digitals was a bit... didn't like it. But that's because I feel like she was saying commercially digitised images. Well, books are commercially digitised images too. You know, so what's the difference really? Magazines are commercially digitised images. So what's the difference? And, you know, if they bring people joy and pleasure, why be snooty about it? I don't understand that. So, but anyway, the main thing was that yeah, I'm really happy with that. I don't know whether to do a dark thread or not now, because I think I prefer it without it. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to take that dark thread out because I think I prefer it without it. So I'm just going to end off here a bit. Or maybe I'll just do one more here. What was the main point I'm trying to make? Oh yes, so to my mind, oh, I love the back as well, look at that. To my mind, using digital images is also supporting our community of other creators who are making their living, you know, not commercial. When they call them commercial, we're talking people who do, you know, make pennies on, it's just, I don't know, it really annoyed me, as you can probably tell. But these digital creators are not making a fortune, you know, not like commercial magazine people or news, I don't know, just, yeah, they're making not a lot of money and their images are gorgeous. They're taking the time to do it, to go out of their way to do it, you know, finding these images in the first place, which we all can do, but I don't necessarily have the skills, could possibly learn. Where's my picker? Somewhere. Where is it? Oh, there it is. You know, I mean, you know, feel free to disagree with me. I'm not. We all can have our opinions. I just didn't like the snootiness of it, you know. As if somehow by using digitals that our work is less viable, less, I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you think that too, that I'm not going to jump down your throat. You know, the people, this particular lady, I felt she was just, yeah, dismissing the work of people who use digital. So that's what that was my impression. So anyway, I won't go on about it. Yeah, happy with that. I think I can do a little bit of, instead of using, like I said, but oh, I haven't taken all of them out. Should I take all of them out, or is that going to be a smaller one and it's a little bit different? I think that's more interesting, actually. I think I took that to stitch out, but I'm going to leave that. I like when you open it up a little bit like that. So that's, now, I've probably been on forever. Oh my goodness me, honestly. What I end up having to do when I make these videos and they're too long, what I end up having to do is take off, cut them down in the, I have to take off threading my needle. I have to, you know, edit them down. It's just because I'm so slow. Well, I know it's slow stitch, but it's, you know, I'm too slow. Maybe that's why I haven't gone viral. I don't want to go viral, to be honest. I couldn't handle it, but would be nice to get a few more subscribers, build a bit of a bigger community. I mean, I feel blessed to have the community I do, so don't get me wrong. Right, happy with that, but I'm going to turn the camera off, finish it off, and I'll come back. Okay, so I have finished this one, and I've backed it with this hand-dyed cloth as well, so I like the contrast. It's a very soft contrast, and then I have just stitched it on all the way around with the same thread as this. So I'm quite happy with them. I mean, you know, there are elements that could be better, but I actually think they look quite effective. Hello everyone, hope you're all well. So yeah, Monday morning, and I was busy over the weekend. I went to an antiques fair. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then I made these yesterday afternoon and last night. So I made these, not that one, I made that previously. You've probably seen it, but I do love it. I don't know why I haven't used it in any of my projects, but I love that. And the vintage button is gorgeous. So yeah, I can add that somewhere in one of my projects. So I made these for, just check, yeah, embroideries on hand-dyed fabrics. So all of the fabrics, the backing fabrics and the top pieces are hand-dyed. So that this is eco-dyed, rust-dyed, this is nettle, and this is a yellow flower, and I forget the name of it now. Anyway, it's a yellow flower that I used last year to dye. So yeah, so they're all, you know, incorporate those things. That's a eco dye or an eco print. So then, you know, just added some little flowers, recognisable, hopefully, or seed. Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to seed, but it hasn't quite yet, and it's still got the purple thistly bits. That's a poppy seed pod, and then honesty seed pod, and then this is just, it's I see it quite often when I go for my walk in the woods, the seed head, but I don't know what plant it's from. I should check it out. But it's got these little pods, and then when you just squeeze them, they just fall apart, really. Well, they open up a little bit, and then they fall apart. So yeah. So anyway, those are my 4 little things that I did. So, just a little bit of inspiration for you, I hope. I'm on to my next project. I will show you it now, and I'll tell you. I won't go on about it now, but I'll tell you the story about it when I start working on it again. So, okay, so another slow stitch project coming up. Oh, I can see that's, yeah, that's good. Okay then, well, I'll leave it here with these 4. And, yeah. Hope you enjoyed at least watching me stitch that one at the very least. Okay then, take care everyone, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.